All right, congratulations, Empire Queen here at WonderCon. I mean, how do you folks feel about this today?
So excited to be here. I just absolutely love WonderCon. You know, it's just all the world's most beloved characters being celebrated all in one place. Everybody bringing the magic out of themselves that they naturally have in there and celebrating that. It's been fantastic. What a great day.
Yeah. I was going to say what Mary said, the costumes, everybody seems to have a smile on their face. They're enjoying themselves. I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah, the costumes are amazing. Just seeing everything that everyone, all the thought that they put into it, it's fantastic.
We were thrilled. We got to do a panel earlier today, and it's just been a blast. We hope to hit the other cons, but this is our first initiation into it.
Yeah.
Most excellent. So let me ask the villains, what actually brought you on board and that you wanted to be part of this project?
Well, my evil butt has been here since the beginning. Since this started as an amazing music video with Chris, and I got to play the bad guy in that. You know, over the years, I've gotten to battle with the sword and the wand and the dragon. It's just been the best character to play ever. Wendell forever.
There we go.
Actually, I came in when they decided to make the movie, and Chris and I were in a band together. Yeah. And he said, "Hey, you want to come and join us and play the bad guy?" And I'm one of the bad guys. And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. It sounds fun." And here we are.
Chris, tell us about the selection of villains, you know, in this film. Why these two are perfect?
Well, oh my gosh. I mean, Mary was cast originally back when we did the first music video, and she was just so fun and so interesting, and had such a wonderful, beautiful look that we knew she could play that. But then when it came time to animate the characters with dialogue, we had no idea how powerful she was as an actress. She really is standout. I think all of us are floored with how powerful Mary is as an actress. So, and then Jano, yes, we played in a band together, and he's a great friend, but he's also a mean villain. I mean, he's cruel and menacing,
in a good way.
And in a good way.
In a good way.
And I just, you know, when we finally got to do our fight scene with the swords, it was about time, wasn't it? We were ready for it.
We were totally ready.
Now, of course, you composed the music, and you know the previous group, they praised your music. But tell us about how hard to compose music for a film following a music video itself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, my job is to take, I mean, the score is kind of good and evil at the same time. Like, we encompass both ideas, but luckily the film stood out on its own, so I was able to just take, you know, the final edit and work with that, and which is it's a huge undertaking. Like, the film is like 2.5 hours long, so the score needed to be bold, big, energetic. We had themes of romance, of swashbuckling adventure. The fight scenes were incredibly action-oriented, so everything needed to be there. But
The comedy, don't forget.
And the comedy, yes,
right.
of course.
There's
It's
a
a lot of like Mickey Mousing, which is also like hard to do because you have to time it all perfectly and sync it with like the picture. And Jennifer and I, the editor, works really close together on going back and forth on making sure like when something changed in the edit that the music followed, so everything will be in sync. But I think to answer your question, it's like it was a fantastic experience. Chris and I collaborated a lot on the score early on with sketches, but you know, until the end, until the final recording session, it was great.
It's over 2 hours of original music, right?
2 hours.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's, you know, symphony orchestra, a live choir, and I think we all were and continue to be blown away by the power of the score. It's a beautiful, everything is beautiful in it, and we listen to it all the time without the movie, just enjoying the music.
Well, what was your preferred, you know, instrument of choice?
Oh man, that's a tough one because I'm going to offend somebody in the orchestra. Well, I have to say the choir was probably my favorite. We recorded in this beautiful church in Maine, and then I had them sing not only like had a beautiful soloists as well to sing some of the moments when there was like resurrection and stuff. But in particular, I had fun with them doing like nonsense syllables for like the creepier moments, and that was really cool to hear in this like space. It was fantastic.
Now, speaking of, you know, instrument of choice, your weapon of choice for the both of you is sword fighting. Tell us about your choreography, because that itself has to be a complicated dance.
It was. You know, we shot it with drones and with moving cameras, and so the challenge for us was making sure we are in the proper place based on lighting, where the sun angle is, and getting, you know, little pieces of the fight so that it all blends together. And I think for Jano and I just remember how exhausted we were at the end of that big day, just exhausted because we wanted to get it. We had to get things multiple times, and for us, that was something that, in a way, we were looking forward to, but I think maybe we were dreading a little bit too. Because, like, oh man, okay, here we go, and we really got to nail it. So, but in the end, I'm very happy with how that sequence turned out. And
I started out with just one with an axe at
That's
first.
right.
You had me
That's
with an
right.
axe, and I'm like, I think Voss would be better with 2 swords.
Right.
Let me try 2 swords.
Which is a whole other choreography, isn't it? When you have 2 swords compared to 1, you're doing different moves, and so maybe we overstepped our challenge, but I feel like we met it, and I think we did well with it. But yeah, Jano was great to work with on that.
And how challenging was it to have a mask this entire time? Was it a hinder?
Oh my goodness.
It was tough because not only did I have the mask, but I had black makeup underneath just to cover up the eye holes and everything. So yeah, I mean, there was one time where it got in my contacts and I couldn't see. I was like, okay, we're just going to fight through this and I'll do it. But yeah, and it was heavy. The suit's heavy. You know, everything I'm wearing. After, and you're in the sun, and yeah, it can be a lot.
And probably one of the challenges is that you can't hear Jano very well behind the mask. It's kind of like what did he say? So we did have to loop that. But that makes it more interesting, too, because we get the depth of his voice and the character that he did. We could really, Jano in doing his ADR was fabulous because he really did a great job with that.
Of course, we have to ask you about your wand waving skills.
Yes.
I mean, tell us about your ballet moves with your arms.
Yeah, CL and I, our weapons of choice are wands, definitely. And I mean, that just takes a lot of imagination from within yourself, the physicality of, you know, getting hit from, you know, an imaginary orb that's, you know, not in yet. You kind of just have to visualize how badass this is about to look in post and just really let her rip. And it's so fun.
One of the things that we had to do for that when they're fighting, initially it's between trees. And so I was actually there with gloves on and leaves. And so, like, okay, here it comes, Mary. Here comes the blast. Bam.
Yeah.
And so you get all this practical crap flying in front of the camera.
There's a practical element to literally every part of this movie, which I love because it just makes it more real for everybody in the cast, and I think for the viewer too.
So those blasts felt kind of real, didn't they? Because, like, I better get behind the tree or I'm going to get a face full of dirt.
No lie.
And people who watch this, I want to say no lie, your voice, your tone. Tell us about that accent you developed for this.
I guess I just kind of played around with Chris, you know, like reading lines, throwing different things out. You know, I've got a couple of like great one-liners in the movie, and just a lot of room to play and explore and, you know, start working out that emotion, and then let's fire off several rounds of a line or, you know, of a conversation and see where it goes.
But part of Mary's acting history, she's played English characters before, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I played Pippa Middleton in the Lifetime original movie Will and Kate. So I had plenty of practice doing my English accent there.
Of course, you had to change your voice. After all, you're under a mask.
Right.
Yes. I mean, you, like Chris said, you cannot hear me. I have a little like cloth thing over my mouth, so I'm a little like this.
Sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah. So yeah, doing my ADR in the studio, I got to emote and give a full performance where I can't do that. I just tried to do it without any.
I was to say, like, Mary's line where she says, like, I have too many sisters, like, when she launched that line, I was like, that's the action, like, that's my cue to start the music and, like, let her rip. Yeah. It was fantastic, so, yeah.
Wow, so you cued the music with the action of with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, when you watch the film in post, it's like, I need these little cues, either facial expressions or, like, just the delivery of the line to, like, okay, that's a great, like, starting point for the music to take off. So yeah, bravo.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we were able to give Nick a lot of cuts of the scene early on, so he started his composition process, and that really paid off because it's so lived in. It's so specific to what's happening in the film. It's really beautiful and something we're all very proud of.
Mm-hmm. And I do have to mention, I have to talk about the costumes. Tell us about the costumes that you actually have to don for this, and in the end, did you actually get to keep them for yourselves?
Well, we're holding on to them because we're holding out for Empire Queen 2, baby.
That's right. So yeah, I think we have over 100 costumes, and that was actually an area that I got very involved in because I cared so much about that, as starting with the music video. And each character with their own particular style, and if they have to move a lot, then you have to accommodate that. My costume is incredibly heavy because I've got mesh which has metal beads on it, the chest plate, front and back, the sword, the cape, the boots. There's a lot. I think it probably weighs about 23 pounds. And that's pretty heavy to be lugging around and hiking.
I think all our cosplayers can vibe with that.
Jano's character is also very heavy in what you have to wear too. And then of course CL starts out as a maiden, and then she evolves to an action character, and then evolves to a queenly character. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to take her through that arc as well. So it's something I cared deeply about. I thought that's probably one of the main things you have in a fantasy film is elaborate costuming. Yeah. So I think we did pretty well with it.
Yeah, and I say you probably had the toughest part out of all the costume-wise?
Well, I mean, as far as setup, I think I did probably have the hardest.
Both Jano's and my outfit take about 15 minutes to get into because we actually have to have people dressing us. Tying off our leathers and
I couldn't do it myself.
No, and I can't get out of mine myself. I'm like, you guys help.
Then let me wrap it up with one final thing. Which is harder, wearing a warrior costume or running in a dress? I mean, which running part is harder?
Well, I think for me, my fur-lined cloak kind of like became an extension of my character. It was kind of its own character.
For sure it was.
Because it was always like, how do we want it to look? I'm like, I need to zhuzh it. I need to change it. And then it became my zhuzh. Like, I need my zhuzh. Bring me my zhuzh. So I just feel like it's a great extension, something to play with, and yeah.
And I'll say I have costume envy for what Jason Scholes wears because he's the captain. He's got a jacket, he's got his hat, he's got his boots, and he's gone. I'm like, wait, you guys, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Yeah. Let me get my thing on. Okay.
The parker's already out.
And then you're running and you've got 20 pounds extra. You're like, okay, guys, I'm getting kind of tired here. So I think in the sequel, I'm going to have a much lighter weight outfit. I've decided.
There you go.
Well, we can't wait for the sequel. So. Yeah. Let's do this again for the sequel next time. But anyways, congratulations right now for Empire Queen. Can't wait for everyone to check it out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.